We're here with Tim Hickey, who is an estate planning attorney. How are you?
Oh, very good. Glad to be here.
Me too. We're glad you're here. How are you connected to Helping Hand?
Well, I am connected in a few ways. My son Jack is 29, and he started coming to Helping Hand School when he was in ninth grade. So he went to the high school and the transition program, and then Jack still gets therapy through the clinic program. And Jack is, just the last couple of years, he's been an ambassador for Helping Hand. So he and his service dog go to schools and talk to mostly third and fourth graders about what it's like to grow up with a disability and the different things that Helping Hand does and the different ways that Helping Hand has helped them over the years.
Awesome. How did you get into trusts and wills for people with disabilities?
From having a child with a disability myself, when Jack was diagnosed when he was probably 4 or 5, I learned for myself how estate planning was different for a family with somebody with a disability. So I learned it to do it for our family, and then I met other families that had a family member with a disability and discovered that everybody kind of was facing the same challenges there. So since I knew something about that from both being a lawyer and from my own experience in my family, I thought that would be something that I could help people by focusing on.
Awesome. What were those challenges, do you think, that you mentioned that you saw, like all these families?
Well, for the parents of someone with a special need, it's different because their special needs child may not be able to work and support themselves during their whole life. So they may need help from government benefits or help from family. And so it's different that way as opposed to a neurotypical child that might support themselves financially when they're, say, 20 or 25. And so the parents of a special needs child have to think way ahead. Their child may live 30 years longer than them, and they have to think how they'll be provided for financially and who will help make decisions for them, even after the parents aren't able to do that anymore.
Have you guys had any experience with making a will yet, or what do you guys know about it?
No, I haven't had any experience. My dad had, and then they both passed away, so we had to redo it, and my brothers took care of it. It's not an easy thing, huh?
What about you?
I have a trust, if that's the same thing.
What's the difference between the trust and a will?
Well, with a will, it usually just leaves the money to the person at the end of your life. So a parent leaving a will that leaves money to their child. For a neurotypical child who would not need maybe help managing the money, or who is not receiving other government benefits to help them, they might just be able to have a will and the money go directly to them. But for an adult with special needs, it can be important to keep government benefits like Social Security benefits or different Medicaid benefits or job training benefits. It can be important not to get the money in their own name. So the parents can set up a trust which names someone who will help their disabled child make decisions about how their money is spent and how their money is managed, with the idea that it'll last as long as possible and do as much as possible for them, but it won't keep them from getting the government benefits that they need.
Do you have to be old to get a will?
No, you don't have to be old to get a will. Just because a will or a trust it plans for things that we don't know what's going to happen in the future. So even a younger person can get a disability in the future. They could have a stroke or be involved in an accident, and they could need other people to help them make decisions about their health care or their money. Or, we never like to think about it, but sometimes younger people can get sick or be in an accident or something like that.
Yep.
So a will, even for a younger person, it helps if they have children or a spouse. It helps to plan for how those people will be taken care of if something happens to somebody, even when they're young.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's very important.
Yes. Yes.
Is it expensive to make a will?
It depends on the person and the family. It can be more expensive if the family has a lot of property or a business or more than one house or a blended family with children from different parents. But usually it's not too expensive, and you can always change the will later on in your life if things change with your family or your finances. So you can start out with a simple will, and if you need to make changes later, you can always do that.
Thank you.
So since August is Make a Will Month, do you see a ton of people coming and asking to make a will, or a lot of families coming in? And what's your busiest time of year?
Really, the busiest time of year is the fall because everybody's coming back from their vacations. Kids are starting back to school, and people are starting to think about all these things they've been putting off and the more responsible things to do. And so the fall is the busiest time, and then people start focusing on the holidays once you get to November and December. So August and September are always busy, and then after the new year, January and February, people start to think about all the things they've been putting off and that they know they should do.
Okay.
Can you write a will on a napkin or and will count be valid? Will be valid.
Well, it would be hard to do, and you might have people challenge it and argue about it. So a lawyer's job is to make sure that the will is very clear and there's no questions and nobody's going to argue about it later. So a will, you want it to state what property you want to go to who, and who you want to manage that property for your family after the person is gone. And then you need witnesses to sign it, to say they saw the person sign it. So it's much better to go to a lawyer and have them make it all clear for you than to try and do it yourself. I always tell people that I compare it to a doctor, and you could watch a YouTube video about how to do surgery, but I still would want to go to a real doctor instead of somebody who's trying to figure it out for the first time.
Yeah, you want to go to a person that they know what they're doing, and you want to have it done right, huh?
That's exactly right.
No mistakes, huh?
Why is it important to update the will?
We try and anticipate everything that could happen in the future when we make a will for somebody. So we try to anticipate if they have more children in the future, or they win the lottery, or they get more money in the future, or they start a business in the future. But if something specific changes with your family, like getting married, having children, a divorce in the family, or your business and your assets change, if you have a lot more money later on, or if you start a business, or if you buy property, then sometimes it makes sense to update your will. And it's easy to update it. You just need to go back to the lawyer again, and they can update what you did before.
So for them, they would just go to you and they would say, or would they first go through their families?
Usually with a family, with somebody with the special needs, you would want the whole family's estate plan to fit together, because the idea is if the disabled person inherits money from their parents or from somebody else, you want it structured so it goes into a trust for the disabled family member, so that somebody's there to help them manage that money, and it doesn't keep them from getting government benefits that they might need.
Okay.
So you kind of have to deal with the whole family at once.
What advice would you give to anyone that doesn't have a will?
Any family that doesn't have a will, it's important that they at least have a basic will for the people in their family who after they're gone. So you wouldn't want your family to have to go to court in probate court if you don't have a will, and because that has more lawyers' fees and a delay, and you just want to make sure that the person is clear ahead of time on who they want to receive their money and who they want to manage it. And especially with a special needs person in the family, they would want to plan how that money is going to be managed and spent, and make sure that the disabled family member can still get the government benefits that they need.
Okay. Do you guys have any other questions?
Yeah. What if your family has sell a building or property, then what happens then?
That's one of the important things that the family would talk about with their lawyer, whether they would still want that building or that property to stay in the family, or if they would want it to be sold when they pass away, and who they would want the money to go to, and how they would want that money to be managed for the special needs family member.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And then sometimes if a family has, if parents have more than one child, I have a neurotypical child, Connor, and then I have Jack, who has disabilities. So it's a little different for families in that situation, because the neurotypical child may need less of an inheritance than the special needs person. So the family needs to think about the idea, well, instead of half and half, maybe I give 3/4 for the special needs person, because the neurotypical child will earn more money during their lifetime.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's great. It's good things to think about.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you
coming.
very much.
Thank you.
Yay.
Hickey, Tim Hickey.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Thank you.
Right?
This is in the fall. It's Make a Will Month, and at my office it is always Make a Will Month. Just like at my house, it is always Autism Awareness Month every month. So fall is a good time before the holidays to make your estate plan. Do your will, your trust, your powers of attorney. Make sure all those things fit together, and especially if you have young children or a family member with a disability, it's always important to get that taken care of. And even with special needs trust, you don't need to fund it right away. We just help you prepare the documents so they're there for the future when they're needed.